So Creamer Media TV is talking to Mike Miller, visiting adjunct professor of the Wits School of Governance. Mike, is South Africa sleepwalking into a serious water crisis?
If I was a practitioner and I was still in government, I would say, yes, this is a very urgent moment. I think it's useful to sit back and say, it's not yet a crisis, but we could very well be making one up as we go along if we're not careful. If we remember what happened with Eskom and power, around 2000 was essentially the latest date where they should have taken a decision to build new power stations. And government dilly-dallied and didn't want to take a decision. And by the time they took the decision, there was a 5-year delay in the process. And the whole country suffered load shedding as a consequence. In Gauteng and the surrounding provinces that are supplied through the so-called VAL system, we're sitting in a situation where we know that around 2018, 2020, the capacity of that system to provide water, if there's a serious drought like we're having now, is not going to be enough. And we need to take some measures to deal with that. But some of those measures are going to take time. If we sign the contract for Lesotho Highlands Phase 2, January 2016, the water will only be available in 2024. If we're going to be short in 2018, 2020 and we hit a drought, then what's going to happen? There may be some alternative arrangements, but in all cases, we need to take the decision because the time frame is rushing up towards us and we're busy worrying about shortages for watering gardens in Johannesburg because it's a hot day. We want to worry about, will we be able to support the entire Joburg and the surrounding economy right through the year, not just on a hot day during a drought. And I'm worried that if we don't take the necessary action now, take the decisions now, next couple of months, we're sleepwalking into a real crisis.
And what decisions then are those that you say have to be taken?
It's embarrassing to have to say, but the South African government is being slower than the Lesotho government to take a decision on Phase 2 of Lesotho Highlands. There is a deep desire, fueled, I have to say, by some people who want to make money out of treating dirty water. There's a deep desire to use acid mine drainage as a source of water. The more water we pump out of the mines, the more we pollute the system. So I don't like that as a solution. It could be a short-term solution. If it's a short-term solution, we better get on with it. And the plans are there. There's some very good indications about the technology. Decisions still haven't been taken. And I get worried. This is how we got into the energy crisis.
And who has to take these decisions?
The minister's got to go into cabinet with a proposal. And she's got to say, this is what we're going to do with Lesotho, this is what we're going to do with acid mine drainage. Minister of Finance, Minister Nene, please, these are the financial consequences, let's go. And of course what we need to worry about is that our financial situation at present is not of the best. We're running into a period of real financial stringency. And so the Minister of Finance is going to have to think very hard. But we don't want that thinking process to take too long.
And what was the reason why we fell behind with the decision on the second phase of the Lesotho Highlands Scheme?
That's a question you have to ask ministers. The Lesotho project is a very complicated project. There's a treaty. The projects themselves are very complicated. You need to do procurement through a system where one government, the Lesotho government, does the procurement, but South Africa must give the okay to that. So it's a complicated and delicate and nuanced process. And I venture to say, because we keep changing ministers, I don't think the ministers actually even understand what needs to be done. Challenge them. Explain why you're taking so long. Explain why the Lesotho government has asked South African parliamentarians to come and discuss the delays, which I believe has just happened. This is serious black marks against our government. I find it very interesting that the Lesotho government should call very politely the South African government to account for these delays.
And how important is that Lesotho water to us?
The Lesotho water is just one more source of water. Remember, the Vaal River, apart from the water that comes naturally into the Vaal, we take some water from the Tugela, we pump it over the Drakensberg. We take some water out of the Komati and we bring it into the Vaal system. The way that the planning works is you look at what the demand is and you say, we're going to need to increase the supply by this much or that much over the next period. And the planning is done up to 2030. We know more or less what has to be done. The demand might change and then the plans will change. But this little tranche of Lesotho water is the cheapest way to increase the supply to the Vaal system that we currently have on the table. AMD treatment is going to be much more expensive. Apart from anything, we're going to use energy for it. There we've got a wonderful Lesotho project, fed down by gravity, no pumping until it gets down to Vereniging when it has to be pumped up to Joburg. But the danger is neither the one nor the other is going to be ready in time. It means if there is a drought, like the current one, then we will be short because the dams won't be filling up fast enough to meet the demand. Then we'll really have to have restrictions. We haven't really had restrictions yet. We need to be strategic and also worry about where the municipalities and the water boards are going to get their water resources from in the future. If we don't keep our eye on those long-term projects, we can do a lot of running around and putting our fingers in the dike and fixing leaking pipes. But if in 10 years' time there's no water to go into those pipes, there won't be any leaks, but there won't be any water for you and me.
That was Creamer Media TV talking to Mike Muller, visiting adjunct professor of Wits School of Governance.